Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Krista. In today's video, I'm going to share some cozy hobbies, including some DIYs and drawing, and I also have some recipes that I want to share with you. So the first thing that I'm going to be working on is the DIY. This is for Valentine's Day, but really you probably could use it for going into spring as well. You could add flowers and things to it. That's kind of why I made the design look like it had leaves on it. With that being said, we'll get into making the DIY. So I'm going to begin this DIY by taking 3 hearts from Dollar Tree, and I'm just cutting off the twine hangers on them. Now I'm just going to use a couple pieces of this scrapbook paper. It's a vintage Valentine's Day one. I got it from Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to take a pencil and trace the heart around it so I can get the paper to the shape of the heart. Now I'm just going to cut the scrapbook paper out to the shape of the heart, and I'm going to take some Mod Podge and put it on the hearts, put the scrapbook paper down on the heart, and then put Mod Podge on top of the scrapbook paper. While the hearts are drying, I'm going to take these pink and white hearts that I got at Dollar General, and I'm just taking off any of the bows and beads and things off of them, and I'm going to use my finger sander to sand them so it's easier to paint them. And then I took some pale pink and painted 3 of the hearts and painted the other 3 hearts with white paint. Now I'm just taking 3 wood dowels and taking some of this folk art wood tint in the color Walnut, and I'm going to just stain them. And I just did that with all 3 of them. Once they're dry, I'm going to do a second coat of paint on the hearts because it kind of bled through where the bright pink was kind of more intense than the light pink. Now I'm just going to flip the hearts over and do 2 coats of paint on the other side, and obviously dry in between. Now I'm just going to dry the hearts after the second coat, and I believe this is called Sandstone. It's in Waverly, it's chalk paint, and I'm distressing the hearts by using my chip brush with a little bit of paint on it. It's okay if the white and pink gets mixed in, it kind of adds character to it. Now I'm just taking these metal pails that I got at Hobby Lobby. I think they're in the wedding decoration section. And I'm taking some floral foam I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm cutting it down to size, and I keep cutting it down until they fit in there. Now I'm just taking my finger sander and I'm sanding the edges until the scrapbook paper comes off, and it kind of gives it this distressed look. And I do that for all 3 hearts, and once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and arrange the hearts the way I want them to. So I want them to kind of look like a flower. And then you take a pretty good amount of hot glue and glue the hearts onto the wood dowel. Now I'm going to take the white pails and take the wood dowel and stick it down in the floral foam, and it kind of makes them stand up. And then I'm taking a good amount of hot glue and some of this moss, and I'm kind of placing it on there. And I want it to look a little more natural, so I'm going to keep it kind of I'm not going to trim off the excess. Now I'm taking some of these pink plaid ribbons that were on the hearts from Dollar General, and I'm gluing them onto the bottom where the wood dowel goes into the hearts, and I'm gluing a tiny wood heart from Dollar Tree onto the center of the ribbon. Now I'm going to take some of this pink tulle that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm gluing it and trimmed off the excess. It kind of makes like a tube, and I'm going to take it and glue a little bit and then twist it around and keep doing that until it's all the way around. This just kind of adds a nice touch to the pail, but you can obviously do this step or not. I'm using the little pink and white wood beads. It also came with the hearts from Dollar General, and I'm just gluing them right onto the center of the pail. I wanted to create a base for the arrangements that I made, so I'm just taking some wood planks from Dollar Tree and I'm staining them with the wood tint in the color Walnut. And then I just dried them using my heat gun. I wanted to make sure that the pails would like glue onto the wood, so I'm taking a little bit of felt. It don't matter whatever color you want to use. And then I just traced the pails like on the felt to create the shape of the bottom of the pail. And I cut out the felt, took a good amount of hot glue, glued it to the bottom of the pail, and then I glued the pail onto the wood plank. I absolutely love this DIY. I think it turned out adorable. Obviously, I kind of geared it toward Valentine's Day, but you could also use it for spring, change out the scrapbook paper that you're using, and you can paint the hearts green to make them look like leaves. I know a big thing right now is kind of like slowing down, try not to be on like technology as much. That's why I draw using like my sketchbook, colored pencils, and things like that. So I'm going to show you a drawing that I did today. I love drawing like faces and things and portraits, so that's most likely what the drawing will end up being, and I'll show you step by step how I do it. I wanted to try something different, so I'm going to go ahead and try to explain each step as I do it. So I usually just use a mechanical pencil. You can use like a number 2 pencil or whatever, but I'm just creating the face here, creating more like, I guess, like a square face, and then I just make the eyes. One of my favorite styles, I really like the anime style, which obviously you can do whatever style you would like. And I'm just doing the eyebrows. I'm doing blue eyes, so I'm doing dark blue, light blue, and then a little bit of black. And this kind of creates the look to make them look more like realistic. Now I'm working on her hair. I'm doing kind of a chin length hair, kind of making it a little more messy. I guess it kind of reflects my hairstyle, but you can do whichever hairstyle you would like. And I'm just making sure that it looks even on both sides, so I'm just kind of sketching it in there. Now I'm working on creating her hat. I wanted to make it like spring gardener type vibes, because here later you'll see I'll make some flowers, so I wanted to reflect that. One thing with drawing and painting, you want to kind of decide where your light is coming from, like if the sun was shining on her hat. So I decided to go kind of toward the center of her hat. I did a lighter brown, darker brown on the edges, and now I'm taking a kind of straw yellow color and doing I'd say it's more like a sienna, brown sienna on the sides, and kind of shading that in there. And I'm going to take a little bit of black, and I'm kind of smudging it with my fingers. And this kind of creates the effect of a shadow, so it makes it look more 3D. I decided to do a light pink for her hair, so I'm just kind of going around the edges here, and I do a light pink, do a darker pink toward like where the hat and her hair meet, because it kind of creates this shadow. And I'm just using like different shades. You can, go based off what your style is. And now I'm taking black and doing the same thing with my finger, smudging it to create a shadow. It kind of makes the hat like pop out. And I just used some brown on her eyebrows, and then I just drew in her nose. You can do a more realistic style nose, or you can do kind of like a line with like a little bit of a shadow based on what style you're going for. Now I'm using a light peach to create her skin tone, and I used brown to create shadows on her nose and pink to create kind of a rosiness on her nose and her cheeks. And then I just drew in her lips, and I'm using a kind of a lighter red and some pink. And this kind of creates like a look like she's wearing lipstick, or you can make it look more natural. Now I'm taking more of that light peach color, and I'm taking a sienna brown to kind of create shadows and like more depth to her skin. And then I just drew in her neck, and I decided to do a scarf, so I'm just drawing that in, and I erased the lines from where I drew her neck so it looked like her scarf was covering her neck. And then I'm drawing in lines and taking some purple, and then I'll take a lighter purple and a little bit of pink, and I take some black and put it right along the lines to create a shadow to make the scarf look like it has folds in it. And then I just use that same peach and brown that I used for her face to create a skin tone for her neck. Now I'm taking a black colored pencil and kind of outlining her hair and her face to kind of make it stand out more. And then I work on making her body. So I made her shoulders, and I'm going to do some overall shorts. So I'm just kind of drawing that out. You could obviously do a different outfit, but this is the outfit I decided to go for. And I'm just kind of drawing that in there. Now I'm going to work on her shirt. I just did some cuff sleeves and I did her arms and kind of had her hands kind of like in her pocket or like behind her. Now I'm going to work on coloring in the overalls. I'm just using this light blue and just kind of going around and coloring in different spots. And then I'll go in next with a darker blue. This kind of creates shadows in it and it makes it look more like denim. Now I'm just taking a black colored pencil and kind of creating like stitches around the different parts of the overall. Now I'm just taking that same light peach color and coloring in her arms, and I'm doing a light green for her shirt and a darker green for where the shirt's cuffed, because usually, you know, when you turn a shirt inside out or cuff it, it looks a little darker. Now I'm just adding a little bit of brown to her arms and her legs to create the look of a tan, since she's out in the garden with flowers, you know, being in the sun and everything. Now I'm going to work on creating the flowers, so I'm going to start by creating the stem and the leaves. And I think the style of flowers I end up going with, they're more like a daisy, but you can go with whatever flowers that you would like. And I just did some smaller flowers, maybe like ones that are a little bit younger so they haven't fully bloomed yet, or maybe a different variety. And I did 2 flowers on each side. I'm definitely excited for spring. It'll be here before we know it, but like I miss having the flowers, having the garden, seeing all the birds, the butterflies, the hummingbirds, but I know it'll be here soon. If you have your own garden, what do you grow? Do you grow veggies? Do you grow flowers? Let me know in the comments down below. We tend to do like zinnias, dahlias, cosmos, sunflowers, Mexican sunflowers, all kinds of different varieties. When it comes to gardening, I have a hard time kind of choosing just one. I'm like that person that has all the flowers, all the veggies. I think it's just kind of my personality, but I feel like it's enjoyable to like see all these things that you grow and you're taking the time to like take care of them and stuff. It's just exciting to me. So now I just colored in the stems and leaves of the flowers using the same green that I used on her shirt earlier. And I'm just taking some yellow with some orange around the border of the petal and filling in the center of the flower with the yellow and taking a little bit of black to create a shadow. And for the shorter flowers, I just took this kind of coral color and put it like on the petals, and then I took a kind of brighter pink and did it around the edges of the petals, did the center with the yellow and the black to create the shadows. And I just took a darker green to create shadows on the stems and the leaves. And I'm going back over with the light peach color, adding more color to her face and taking some white for the white of her eyes and a little bit of pink to create some eyeshadow. I love how this turned out. I plan on posting some more draw and paint with me soon, so subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. This is a new recipe for us. It's a low-carb pumpkin pie, and I topped it with Cool Whip and some chopped pecans. It was absolutely delicious. I mean, you don't even miss the crust, at least I didn't. And I'll show you how I made it. It's super simple. It took a while to bake, so it probably depends on your oven, so keep that in mind when you make it. Here's the ingredients I used to make the low-carb pumpkin pie. I started by taking a can of pure pumpkin and adding it to my bowl. And then I added a half cup of brown sugar substitute, and I whisked that together until it was smooth. And then I added 2 eggs and whisked them together, and I added 1 cup of whole milk, but you could use any type of milk, like 2% or even almond milk. And then I added some cinnamon, vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt, and whisked that all together. And then I just poured my mixture into an 8x8 pan lined with parchment, and I baked this at 375 for 40 to 50 minutes. I wanted to show you the dinner we made. So I've made this tomato feta pasta before, but it's so good I had to make it again. And then we made it with bratwurst cut up in it. It's really good. I'm gonna start by drizzling some olive oil in the bottom of a ceramic baking dish, and I'm taking a spoon and making sure the bottom's completely coated. I have some grape tomatoes that I rinsed, and I put them in the pan, and I kind of move them around with the spoon, make sure they're coated in the olive oil. And I'm taking a whole block of feta and a little bit of salt and pepper and some minced garlic, and kind of mixing it around and making sure everything is incorporated. Now I'm going to place the pan in the oven at 375 for 20 to 30 minutes. While the tomato and feta is baking, I'm going to take a pack of bratwurst and go ahead and place them in the oven. Once I take the tomato and feta out of the oven, I'm going to go ahead and kind of mix them around to create a sauce. You want to make sure your tomatoes are very soft and they'll kind of mix together in the feta. Now I'm going to take some zoodles or some zucchini noodles and add it to the tomato feta mixture, and I'm going to put some foil on top and place it back in the oven. Now our pumpkin pie is done and our bratwurst are done. Now I'm going to show you plating the tomato feta and the bratwurst. We just cut our bratwurst up into small pieces, and I put the tomato feta pasta on the side, and I take a little bit of shaved Parmesan and sprinkle it on top of the tomato feta pasta. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the pumpkin pie into pieces. I'm just using a flat spatula. It's pretty soft. It's kind of pudding or custard like. And I'm taking a serving, putting it on a plate, taking a scoop of Cool Whip, and I chopped up some pecans and I sprinkled it on top. It was so delicious. Thank you for joining me for today's video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. See you in the next one.